Well, here I am in the magic forest today. I'm just here to drop some sugar on top of the hives because I'm going to be gone for a little while and I won't be able to check on the bees. I'm pretty sure they have enough honey, but I'm not entirely sure, so I'm going to drop that sugar on and I'm going to give them some fake pollen patties just for something to do. I'm going to be following what some people call the mountain camp method, which is basically newspaper over the top bars and then you pour the dry sugar on it. Some people just call it dry sugar feeding too. I don't like doing that anymore. I used to do it, but I don't like it because it's too messy. The bees usually end up tossing most of the sugar out. But these hives are sort of, well, they're condensing hives now, so all the condensation inside the hive builds up easily inside the hive, and that condensation should allow them to eat that sugar easier than it would if it was dry, And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it on both of these hives. It's pretty warm. The bees are definitely flying, which is the first time they've really been flying for a long time. There's a few crocuses banging around here, and you can see they're getting into the crocuses. I don't think there's any natural pollen around, or not much anyway, but you can see there's a bee in each one of these crocuses all over the place, so this is good. So this one is looking great, and this one, there's something going on. All the bees are just coming out this side of the hive for some reason, and there's more dead bees in this hive for some reason. I don't know what it is, and it's still too cold to open up the hives and see what's going on, so I'm concerned about this. Something's up. If I had to take a guess, an educated guess based on experience, I would say that some kind of moisture or something got into this side of the hive and it's pushed the bees over to this side of the hive, but I don't know. So anyway, all I'm going to do, theoretically, I might just change my mind and dig into them a little bit deeper, but my plan is just to dig in, drop that sugar on with the rim, tape it up with a bit of duct tape just to make sure it's nice and sealed in, and call it a day. And then I'll come back in a little over a week, and hopefully these bees will be doing good. I'm getting this smoker lit, and I meant to bring some some wood pellets, because those wood pellets, once you get them scorched by fire, they give off a smoldering smoke that doesn't require poofing at the smoker. And you'd think after all these years I'd be able to master the smoker, but sometimes it goes out. And the only thing that so far has worked for me is those wood pellets. They definitely get the job done. And you really get when I do it now, I didn't do this right away when I started beekeeping. I think really it can take a long time to get used to the smoker. Because I see people lighting it, even people I used to teach who just don't listen to what I tell them, and they light it wrong. They light it from the top, and they don't understand that fire moves up, not down, stuff like that. But these days I just like to fill it to the brim, so it'll never go out, or less likely to go out. This hive, I'm pretty sure this colony is going to be fantastic. Man, I wish it was warm enough so I could dig in, because what I'd like to do is just go in there and take out all the bad frames, all the moldy frames, just give them a nice place to live, and anyway, whatever, I'm not going to do it. And as usual, in Newfoundland, when it gets warm, it gets windy. So I'm putting newspaper down, and the wind, I'm sure, is going to blow all over the place and make it a pain in the neck. So the deal is, flip the top off, put the rim on, put the newspaper on. Actually, I'll probably put the newspaper on and then the rim over it, and then I'll dump the sugar in. So good luck. to me. Here we go. I'll just give them. I think they're in a good mood. It's funny that I'm getting whatever's going on with this. Look at this. Look at the mold. Right. So I think that's what happened. Something wet got in the hive over here, and there's probably mold all over this side of the hive. But man, they don't need sugar. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I'm not going to bother with it. I'll show you why. So here we go. This is why I'm not going to give them sugar. Hold on. If I can get this thing undone. I brought the wrong. Oh, I did. Hold on. It's times like this that the J hook comes in handy. Because you just go whomp, whomp. Whew. Yeah. That'll be my fail. Yeah, will do. Yep, check it out. This is good and bad. But you can clearly see that's honey. That's honey. That's honey. And that's honey. And there's probably honey down there too. So let's just take a quick look and see why there are no bees. What's going on? Like why? Oh, that's it right there. Huh. I can see there's just mold. That's exactly what it is. I was right. Some kind of moisture leaked into the side of the hive and made moldy frames. Holy mackerel, did it ever. Man, look at that. Look at that. That's like white. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera. That's like white mold. I do not like that. I've never seen this before until this year. So something's got a new fungus growing in my hives or something. Lovely. Anyway, so that's why they're not on this side of the hive, but the rest of the hive is still full of honey. So I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm not going to give them any sugar. So they're good. I will, however, give them one of these fake pollen patties. And I put my pollen patty on the side where the brood is. The fake pollen patty, that is. I meant to bring a standard top cover and I don't have one. Alright, so I'm going to have to put this rim on because the top cover that I have won't make room for that patty. So that's what's going on there. They got a big hunk of some kind of moisture got into that hive. And yippee-yay. They got at least they still have honey, but I can tell it's, God, I wish I could just dig into this and fix all that right now, but it's just too cold. They're not going to die, but it's that kind of thing like that. Like moisture gets into the hive, too much moisture gets into the hive, and the bees aren't clustering on that moisture on those wet hives, and it gets moldy. And for some reason, I've got drones flying around, and there shouldn't be that many drones. That's weird. I hope that doesn't mean I have a drone-laying queen, because I got a brand new queen in here. So I expect to see a lot of bees. And so what I will do is I take that newspaper. The wind, of course, is blowing everything around and making it difficult. But I'll put the newspaper down and put the rim on top of it to hold the newspaper in place. And then I'll pour sugar on top. Wish me luck. Yep, lots of bees. That means just a little hit of smoke, although they seem totally cool. Yeah, these ones are not. I think they have enough honey, but I've also, this is a nice strong colony. But in case the brood just explodes and they need something to eat, I'm gonna give them some sugar while I'm gone away for 10 days. So there it is. The full newspaper over the whole top of the hive. There's that. Now I'm going to get some sugar and dump it in. First I will, however, take this and put one of these patties in. And I can tell it's, I look at it and I can tell it's not as good as the stuff that I made myself, but it'll do. I get the feeling that this stuff is just made from that light powdered stuff that looks like that color. Anyway, that's not a lot of pollen, but it's enough. So then I'm gonna pour the sugar on top of that. So stand by. Here we go. I think that's enough. We're probably not even going to touch it. Away. I'll just poke a little hole. Oop. There we go. So they can get up there if they need to. Into that little hole and into the sugar, and eat the sugar and that little bit of pollen if they want to. Good enough. Then I take this piece of hard insulation. Actually, it's full of bees, so I'll just knock that off. These bees, I love how super chilled these bees are. And that's it, we're done. I'll put some duct tape on that and maybe just make sure it's nice and sealed in, but otherwise they're done. I can imagine coming back in about a week or so, and I'm going to see sugar, all that sugar, they're just going to dump most of that sugar probably, because there's no nectar right now. They're not getting nectar. They're not foraging on any nectar, but they've got enough honey in there to keep them going. And so if they have honey and then they have this dry sugar, what are they going to do with that dry sugar? Nothing. They'll just toss it out like it's debris. The condensation inside the hive might allow them to dissolve that sugar and eat it if they're desperate, if they really need it. They probably don't. Honestly, they probably don't. But again, what is that? That's about, $2 or $3 worth of sugar to keep my bees alive for a week in case they suddenly starve and run out of honey. So that's it. We're done. Bees everywhere today. I'm so tempted to just dig into this hive because it's weird. I'm seeing drones, which means that queen, that brand new queen that I've got, like, you don't see drones this early. I don't normally see drones this early, so it makes me think that something is off with that queen, or she's become a drone layer or something. When I put her in last summer, the colony that I took her from, she was just laying eggs everywhere, filling every single cell. So she was laying well. So something strange is going on here. Who knows? Maybe she just, I don't know. Maybe she was good last summer and now she's a dud. That does happen sometimes. But it's okay, cool. So they got lots of honey. Hopefully when I get back near the end of the month, it'll be warm enough to dig into these hives, take out all that moldy junk in there, and set them up and get them ready for the rest of the summer. And that's it. It didn't take long, and look at all this stuff I got to pack up. Okay, all right, that's it. They're all set up. I took the screen off the bottom entrance, that screen, just because they seem to be having difficulty with it. And I'm just going to roll the dice and hope that no rodents get in while I'm gone. Same deal with this one. I'm going to leave the mouse guard off. They've got a rim up there with some sugar above the top bars and a pollen patty, and they have a pollen patty, or a fake pollen patty. The pollen patty probably has about 10% protein, if that, because it's a pollen substitute. I was reading a book a little while ago about an old book that was probably published in like 1910 or something, and they were talking about how during particularly bad springs, some beekeepers used to take out whole wheat flour that has 13% protein in it, and they just leave it out for their bees, and the bees would get into it like they get into sawdust and chicken feed and everything else. But in the whole wheat flour, they actually get protein, and there might even be more protein in whole wheat flour than there is in this pollen substitute that we use. I don't know if that's safe to do, but apparently it's something that people used to do, and I'm not doing it because I think my bees are fine, and I got all this pollen substitute, so why not? I put my smoker out by putting duct tape over the hole, which is extinguishing the oxygen supply, and it goes out, and that's into that. I've gotten the habit of sticking a cork there, but I didn't have a cork today, so I just used duct tape. And that's about it. I'm going on vacation for about a week to a place that's a lot warmer than Newfoundland, and I desperately need it. It's got nothing to do with beekeeping though, but until then, these bees are on their own, and I hope they don't die.